Well, we're almost at Christmas, the Sunday before Christmas, and it's very exciting. And last week in our story, we learned about the birth of the special baby Jesus. And Jesus is such a special baby because Jesus was the person that God would use to make everything good again. Do you remember we started our story in the garden where everything was good? And then Adam and Eve ate the apple that they shouldn't have ate, and suddenly all the sadness came into the world. Well, today's story tells us how Jesus grew from a baby into a man and what he did in order to make everything new again. Questions. All night long, Jesus' enemies asked him angry questions. Then early in the morning, they took him to the Roman governor. Jesus had done nothing wrong, the governor said. He wanted to let Jesus go, but the crowd would not let him. Kill him! Nail him to a cross! The crowd shouted angrily. It was Jesus they wanted to kill. But why? Jesus was good. He had done nothing wrong. These people hated Jesus. He tells lies about God, they said. They did not believe he really was God's promised king. The governor was afraid of them. At last he said, I will do as you want, but don't blame me. And he handed Jesus over to the soldiers. They took him to Skull Hill and nailed him to a cross. There were two other prisoners on crosses, one on each side of Jesus. Above Jesus' head was a notice. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Jesus' mother Mary stood close to the cross with his special friend John. Look after her for me, John, Jesus said from the cross. And from that day on, John took care of Mary. Jesus did not hate the soldiers who nailed him to the cross. He did not hate his cruel enemies. Father, forgive them, he prayed. At last, Jesus cried, I have finished my work. Then he died. It was the saddest day. Two friends took his body to the grave. It was a kind of cave with a big, heavy stone across the opening. Sadly, the women watched. It was time to come home. But they would come back. It was the story of how Jesus died. But of course we know Jesus came back to life again. And this is part of what Jesus said after he came back to life again. One day I will come back. We will all be together again, Jesus told his special friends before he went home to God. That was a promise for all of his friends. One day, someday. Now John was on a prison island. The friends of Jesus were in trouble. Trouble, will it ever end? Why doesn't Jesus come back, they said. But God knew all about their trouble. He sent some of his angels to John. Come with me, the angel said. I have something to show you. And what he saw was so exciting. John wrote at once to all the friends of Jesus. It's going to be all right, John said. God is making everything new again. He's showing me his wonderful new world. One day, someday, we will all share it. God will wipe away our tears. No one will die anymore. No one will be hurt. I saw a beautiful shining city, the city where God is. It's never dark in that city. It shines all the time with God's light. Nothing's nasty or bad. and it can never come from there. But God's friends can go in and out and enjoy it forever. God and his people together, just as Jesus promised, just as it was when the world began.